If you are paying attention these days, you probably feel exhausted. There is a constant, suffocating weight pressing down on almost every interaction. It is the pressure to be perceived as a good person. You have to say the right things, hold the correct opinions, and issue performative apologies the moment you step out of line. But that anxiety you feel, that dread of saying the wrong thing, or the moral grandstanding you see everywhere on your feed, isn't natural. It is a symptom. You are playing a game with rules designed to ensure you never actually win. Why do you feel a crushing sense of guilt or a need to justify your existence when you are simply trying to mind your own business and live your own life? We often treat good and evil like laws of physics, but we rarely stop to ask where they actually come from. There is a radical possibility that these concepts aren't universal truths at all, but human inventions designed for a very specific purpose. That lingering anxiety isn't a flaw in your character. It is the intended result of a psychological cage, a cage built specifically to keep you small, compliant, and useful to the herd. To understand how humanity wound up trapped in this cage, we have to look back at the historical origins of morality itself. In the late 19th century, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche looked at the morals of his day and saw a massive historical power struggle. He realized that our ideas of right and wrong didn't come from the heavens, but from the dirt. He argued that in humanity's original state, a master morality prevailed. The strong, the capable, and the healthy looked at their own ambition, their physical vitality, and their independence, and naturally labeled those traits as good. To them, bad simply meant whatever was weak or detrimental to their own flourishing. Eventually, the vast majority, lacking the physical power to assert themselves, rebelled. Nietzsche called this the slave revolt. Unable to win physically, they weaponized guilt through a psychological inversion. They rebranded submission as good and demonized the power of the strong as evil. The morality we accept today functions as a vengeful survival strategy, a psychological leash invented by the weak to restrain the strong. Now, you might be thinking that because you don't go to church or subscribe to a traditional religion, you are free from this historical guilt trap. You aren't. Several decades before Nietzsche, a philosopher named Max Stirner diagnosed a similar problem. He introduced the concept of the spook. A spook is a phantom of the mind, an abstract idea that tricks us into serving an illusion instead of our own interests. Today, we have simply replaced God with secular spooks. We pledge to the cause, to the state, or to society. And all these modern abstractions demand the exact same self-sacrifice, obedience, and moral purity as the old deities. You see this constantly in the modern moral crusader. Look at the people in your feeds who are always policing behavior, policing language, and loudly preaching the virtues of total selflessness. Stirner had a specific term for these people. He called them unconscious egoists. They claim to be serving a higher cause, but in reality, they are pursuing their own desires. They want the social reward, the elevated status, and the very real power that comes from being seen as righteous by the community, all while hiding behind a fake halo of self-denial. Dedicating your life to being a universally acceptable good person for society just substitutes one master for another, keeping you enslaved to an illusion. Escaping the herd's influence demands the active, ruthless destruction of every idol you hold sacred, whether religious or secular. This is a terrifying process. Without the herd's prepackaged rules to guide your behavior, there is no safety net. You become entirely, completely responsible for yourself. This is the pursuit of total self-ownership. You cannot just escape societal rules and stop there. You have to strip away every belief, every expectation, and every habit that is not authentically your own. Once the slate is wiped clean, you need a new internal engine. Nietzsche called this the will to power. It is the fundamental drive within every living thing, not merely to survive, but to grow, to expand, and to assert its own unique vitality upon the world. True liberation means abandoning the exhausting ghost hunt for universal validation. It means accepting the glorious, heavy responsibility of defining your own existence. So stop evaluating your life choices through the artificial binary lens of objective good or evil. Your ultimate and your only obligation is to become your own lawgiver and to ruthlessly create your own values.